Hi everyone, I'm back from out the garden. I just want to come back and talk with you guys again. Like I was saying before, the reason I wanted to start this channel was in honor of my son, dedicated to my son Justin. He was killed, murdered at a protest here in my city. He was hit by a stray bullet. It was He wasn't killed by a police officer, but he was killed stemming at a protest stemming from a police shooting. Keith Lamont Scott, he lived here in Charlotte. He was shot by the police. He was sitting in his car waiting on his son to get off the bus. The officers didn't get charged. They said that he was waving a gun around. They even had his wife in the background yelling, "Don't shoot, don't shoot him." But they shot and killed him. They got off because they said he was waving a gun. My son Justin was there protesting. The first day they started protesting, they were rioting. They were setting trucks on fire. They were looting everything. So I didn't think it was safe to go down there and protest. But he was adamant that next day when they called for a protest at Marshall Park, a peaceful protest. Justin wanted, me to go and, my son, some more people to go. But I didn't want to go because of the danger, that happened before. So anywho, Justin went anyway. I didn't know he had gone, but he called me after the protest was over. I was at work, still working late, and he assured me that everything was fine. The protest went well. It was peaceful, and he had a good feeling about it. But he was on his way to his car, which was parked at the Omni Hotel. So he had to get to his car, walk back to the car. I told him to be safe. I love him. Everything. About 45 minutes later, my oldest son called me. He was living in D.C. at the time. My oldest son called me and told me that Justin had been hurt. The friend that was with him, he called my son. He knew my son's number, but he didn't know my number. So my son called me from D.C. Need to get to the hospital. Justin's been hurt. I was trying to get the information straight. He was like, I don't know. They say he'd been hit by a bottle or something like that. I get to the hospital. It was crazy, they were starting to try to shut the hospital down because the rioters were still, in an uproar, and they thought that the police had shot my son, so they was wanting to come and protest there. It was just all a mess. And I get to the hospital. They put me in a room all by myself. I didn't know what was going on. They say somebody being there to talk to me. I started calling my family on the phone, telling them, Justin in the hospital, he's been hurt. I don't know the details, blase, blase. After I got off the phone, I got on my knees and I prayed to God, let my son be all right. You know what I'm saying? I just started praying immediately. And I was in there for about 30 minutes. Nobody came and said anything to me. So I went out in the hallway, and a young lady that worked there asked me did I need help, and I told her, that my son had been hurt, blah, 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 and she went to get somebody. Next thing I know, 2 officers come in and talk to me about my son. But they were like talking to me like my son had did something wrong. Do you know if Justin had any beef with anybody? No, so and so, so and so. No. So after the questioning was over, they let me go upstairs to see my son. When I got there, Justin was laying there on life support with his head bandaged up. And he looked like he was, already gone to me. But he didn't look like in distress or anything. I couldn't really tell the wound on his head because it was all bandaged up. It was some blood on it too. He had blood in his dreads. I sat there with my son at night and I prayed. I asked God, if you take my son, please give me the strength to make it through. Please give me the strength to make it through. I was there all night. My oldest son came in. He had to drive from D.C., all the way from D.C. to Charlotte to get to us. He told me, later on, that was the worst drive of his life. Anyway, the next day, my family, everybody was there. Oh yeah, they wouldn't let my family come in when they came up because I told you the chaos was going on, so they had security, everything out there. They wouldn't let anybody in, so I had to tell them who my family was, and they let them come in. And this was the next day because I came home, took a shower, went back to the hospital. So I got up to the room, and Justin was gone. He didn't have any. That's my air fryer, y'all. Cooking me a turkey burger. He didn't have any activity. I don't think it was as hard. He didn't have anything going on. Brain activity. They stuck a thing in his eye. He was gone. So I had to let go. My middle son was angry. Because he's thinking his friend got shot in the head. Well, he survived, but it was a whole totally different situation. His friend was still breathing on his own and everything. It was still activity, but Justin didn't have any activity. Just his heart was pumping. So they pronounced Justin dead. Everybody, when I got downstairs, my whole family was there waiting for me, and people, some people I grew up with. But anyway, another thing, they asked me did I want to donate just the organs, and I said yeah. I donated his heart, his liver, and his lungs. His kidneys were not any good because they was working too hard after the trauma. It had too much trauma, so I ended up giving helping 3 people. But anyway, it was very overwhelming. I don't know if anybody out there has ever lost a child, but it's the worst feeling. It's like a hole has been put in your heart that could never be filled. That's why I wanted to dedicate this channel to my son. Excuse me, y'all. And I want to reach out to other people that has lost a child. Maybe I can help them and encourage them. It hurts, but I'm learning to live through it. And I know it's nobody but God. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to pretend to be this perfect person. I'm just here to do what we all supposed to do. And that's be servants. We're here to help each other. That's what I know. That's all I know is helping people. But I have to get more used to speaking. Because I wanted to start a nonprofit in honor of Justin to talk to the youth about gun violence and things and maybe help somebody. As a matter of fact, I work in a community with youth before the COVID. I used to work at a bus stop with youth. And also recently I did a Zoom. It was a Zoom, like a summit for teens. And there was like 25 teens on it. And one of my friends, Tanya, she does radio here. She's a radio personality here. And she asked me to do it. She has an organization. And she asked me to come in and talk to the youth about gun violence and telling my story. So I did that. I think I did good, because a lot of times I write things down to prepare, but when I actually get on, like I've done a couple interviews with the news, I have what I say down, but when I get in front of the camera, I lose. So I have to just try to, speak from my heart, speak without the paper. And sometimes that gets difficult because I do get nervous. But again, you guys, I'm just here to inspire. I want to keep my son's name alive. And when the George Floyd was murdered, they had a protest here in Charlotte too, and it made me feel good because they were protesting down there and saying all the people that got killed, and they included my son, say his name, Justin Carr. So, and I did go down there and protest with them too. 2 of the protests when they had with the George Floyd. I was invited by one of the Million Man Marches. He has a program here, Mario. He has a program here in Charlotte, and he works with the youth. And I marched with them, and plus I did it with the NAACP and some more groups too, and that felt good. And I spoke there too. But yeah, so I hope you guys like, subscribe, and share. Have a good day, and don't forget to love, love, love. That's what it's about. So anyway, y'all, I just tied my head up today. Don't mind me. I just want to finish telling you guys that my son, what happened. I didn't finish telling you guys what happened. Anyway, on the way back to my son, on the way back to his car, the crowd, I think the crowd had got, disruptive, I guess. That's what the police said. So they had barricaded the Omni off, so my son couldn't get to his car. And my son was standing right there where the police were standing, in the line where the police were standing. So, um, the from my understanding, the police start throwing these bombs out, the bottles with the bombs in it or whatever, and it got kind of chaotic. Smoke was everywhere, and somebody shot a gun, and the bullet hit my son. But a lot of people were saying that the police did it. It was a rubber bullet, but it wasn't a rubber bullet. Everybody that said they had videos and all this kind of carrying on had the evidence that the police did it. I never saw it. I never saw any evidence. Nobody came and supported me in court that said it or anything like that. But anyway, I just want to come back and take because I didn't finish telling you guys what happened. Yeah, he was hit by a stray bullet. So I'll talk to you guys later. I know this is crazy how I ended it, but I just want to come back and tell you guys that. Goodbye.